Hey there, bookkeeping side hustle community. This is a quick video to give you some tips to build your website for your bookkeeping business. Let's dive in. Easiest thing to do would be to download your template to follow along. I'm going to be walking through this worksheet. There'll be a link to that below. You don't have to download it though. You can also just sort of follow along and take notes about the steps that you need to take. What we're going to talk about today is how you can find inspiration online from other sites, how you're going to write your copy for your site, how you're going to collect the photos that you need, and I'm going to suggest photos that you need, and then how you're going to prep for the design work before you start actually building a website. All right, let's dive into the worksheet. All right, so when you download the resources, this is what you're going to get. If you want to just handwrite the stuff out, you can. We're going to go over some ways to look for inspiration from other sites. We're going to talk about the copy for each of the pages that I suggest you have. Got some extra material about a couple of blog articles that you can write, how to collect photos, and how to do your design work. So the first thing you're going to want to do is check out some sites from other bookkeeping and accounting businesses in our industry. You can Google around. You can look at my site, heritagebusinessservices.com. You can also search the word website in the Bookkeeping Side Hustle Facebook group. And if you do that, you're going to get a lot of website review threads that we've done over the history of that group. The deal is, you don't plagiarize. It's not going to be good for anybody. It's not going to be good for you. Write what you want to write, but just write down notes about what you like about different sites. I suggest looking at each site for no more than 5 minutes each, so that way you don't plagiarize, but you get that feel for what you need to include on your site. All right, now let's get down to the copy for our pages. I would block off some time just to write, like handwrite, maybe just open a Word document and type right directly in this template that I'm giving you. Whatever you need, but kind of get rid of all distractions and think about the copy that you want to say. The tips are always to use you language, not I language, like you're talking to your ideal customer. Use niche language if you've got a niche. Say the word bookkeeping quickly on your pages. Shorter paragraphs are better, adding more white space. Think about words or phrases that you also would like to bold on your pages, so you can write a little bit more, but maybe highlight one sentence per paragraph or something like that. That'll help draw the eye to it. So start with that home page, and then we'll build from there. I have an about page on my site. I think that almost all businesses should. Tells about you, tells about kind of how you got to where you are, how your company got started, that sort of thing. One thing I've done is I've included a link to my LinkedIn profile, which I have a little bit more thorough information about my background, which can kind of be boring, but the clients who are really interested might want to dig in there. So that's one tip that I have. You'll also want to have a services page. Think about what services you want to offer your clients. Maybe you'll divide them up. You can do a couple of columns. That's what I have. I have 3 columns. Do you do bookkeeping and taxes? Identify that there. I would maybe sketch out this page, perhaps more than any of the others. Think about how you want to do it. You can do left justified and right justified, left justified with a right image with a left justified text, stuff like that. But you got to write down what it is that you're going to offer. So you'll need a contact page. That's the way people are going to be able to reach out to you. How do you want them to do that? So I would suggest kind of drawing out what you want that to look like. Is it just the phone number for now? Do you have an email address? Do you want them to fill out a form? There's all sorts of ways to do that. I have a video on this channel, which I'll link to. You can connect your Calendly and Zoom. Both applications are free, and I created a tutorial about how to do that. So if someone books you through Calendly, they'll automatically get sent a Zoom link. So that's what happens for me whenever people book me for a free 15-minute consultation. But whatever you do, I mean, even if you just have one sentence, like email your name at suchandsuch.com, you got to have a way for them to contact you. So make that contact page very simple and straightforward. All right, staying on this theme of how to contact you, another thing I suggest is creating a button, and you can put that all over your site at the bottom of every page. I think I have it on the bottom of all of my pages, and you're going to want that button to link to your actual contact page. So Buttons are just kind of easy, they stand out, and I suggest on my little worksheet here, write down what you want your button to say, or otherwise you're going to forget when you're building each new page. So you can say, book a free 15-minute consultation, you can say contact today, you can say schedule an appointment, whatever you want, just write it down so that way it is, it says the same thing throughout your site. All right, now we can move on to some of the optional material. You might not need to make this at the very beginning when you're building your website, but definitely put it on the list of something to come back to. I suggest a testimonials page. As you're building your business, you must figure out a way to collect those. And we actually have a great video that we've done before. It's long, but it is so juicy. It's about optimizing your QuickBooks Online profile in the Pro Advisor directory, but it applies to all sorts of other directories that you can be in, and it talks about some good tips on how to get some of those early testimonials. So watch that video. There'll be a link here. But in this section of the worksheet, I suggest either finding where you have gotten some testimonials or quickly asking for them and paste them here so you'll have the text ready to add to your site. Or if you don't have any, write down 3 to 4 action steps, possibly after listening to that longer video I mentioned about getting testimonials for your QuickBooks Pro Advisor profile. Write down those action steps that you're going to take to get those testimonials that you need by a certain amount of time. A month from now, 2 months from now, whatever. Just write it down or it's not going to happen. Next page in the worksheet suggests possibly a frequently asked questions page. I think this is optional but could definitely be done very early on. It's really easy to include. You can always build upon it later, so maybe start with 3 or 4 FAQs and then build it out as you go. It's a creative way to communicate what makes your firm unique. Like, are you only working in a certain software? Do you only work certain kind of hours? What kind of response time do you have? Do you do taxes or do you not do taxes? Do you offer training? Stuff like that. Those would be all great things you could put on a FAQ page. So on this page, write out your questions, write out your answers. It takes a little bit of thought. This is a more text-heavy page, so you'll have to get to writing. So another optional thing you can do is to write a couple of blog articles. Your website doesn't have to be a blog, but it can be a blog. And if you think you're going to want that, I suggest you really kind of need 2. It's going to look better on the format of the page if you have more than just 1 article. So I got some suggestions for you. An easy one, we're probably all going to work in QuickBooks at some point. So QuickBooks has a referral program. There'll be some links below where you can sign up for that, or you can just investigate it yourself. But if you write a generic article about about QuickBooks Online, it can be a technical article, it can be an article about why you recommend it, it can be an article about who it's good for, that sort of thing. But in that blog article, you'll put these referral links, and that will allow you to share that blog article, particularly with people who might not be ready to hire you yet. Maybe you meet someone, you can say, oh yeah, I got a article about why QuickBooks is great, I'll forward it to you. And then if they end up clicking on your links to get to QuickBooks, and those referral links also have discounts, so you can also say, hey, I've got a link that'll get you a discount to QuickBooks. You can do it on your own until you're ready to hire someone. You can do another blog article on another app referral source. For instance, I have a Gusto article and a Relay Bank article on my site for business owners. So write a short article about why those products are great, or any product that you use. Just some more brainstorming here. Perhaps another second article could be anything else you can think to write about. Again, starting with 2 articles is better. It's going to look better on your page. But write about an app that you like. Write about entrepreneurship in general, something to generally help that business owner, something encouraging, something that's related to your niche could be an article. A top 5 or a top 10 list could be another great topic for an article. All right, now we can get on to a little more of the design stuff, if you're frustrated with writing by now. So I have a little sheet here about collecting photos. So I suggest you create a folder called Pictures for Website, and you're going to put all your pictures in there because when you're working in your website builder, you're going to want to upload all these, and it's good to have them handy. So you'll almost certainly need a great photo of yourself. I wrote an article about how I got a good photo of myself. It's one of my favorite photos of myself, which I don't have a lot of those. that I took with a friend and a phone, and we made it look a little good, all easy, all totally free. I'm not a big tech person, and I was able to do it. So no excuse not to have a good headshot of yourself. And it doesn't have to be too formal either. Mine's not. You're going to want to collect any badges you want on your site. So have you gotten any general ledger certifications like your QuickBooks Pro Advisor, Xero, FreshBooks, any of those? You can get any accounting app certifications, like I have a Gusto certification badge on my site. Quick little aside about the Gusto badge. If you want to get the Gusto accounting certification, the first thing to do is to become an accountant advisor with them and open that portal. It's free to do. And if you do it via my link, which will be below and also on the worksheet, you and I both get $500 from Amazon. So consider that. And the badge looks great on your website, and you'll learn a lot about payroll doing that. Yeah, if you've got an association badge, or if you've got another bookkeeping certification, add that. You'll want to search the web for any sort of background images that you want. For me, I wanted some bricks on mine, so that's what I have. I don't have a lot of stock photos, but you might want it. Maybe you want some images for your homepage. Maybe you want pictures of restaurants or lawyers or outdoorsy folks or family businesses, if that's anything like that's your niche. So collect your photos. All right, I have some tips on design work. There's going to be links to all these in the worksheet as well, but you can Google this sort of stuff as well, but I have some suggestions about picking some colors. I suggest you pick a white, which there's about 1 billion different colors of white, and a black. It might even be like a dark gray, a dark navy, it doesn't matter, but you're going to need a white and a black at some point, so pick those. And then I suggest at most picking like 3 colors. And there are some links to some great articles that kind of have like nice looking color palettes. You can probably just copy those if you're not creative. Write down your hex codes, the numbers that associate with that exact color of white. You're not going to be able to remember that. You have to write it down. So write down your codes for your colors. We'll scroll down here, and you're also going to need to pick your fonts. I suggest 2. There's some font combination tips that you can check out on this link in the worksheet. Confirm that they're free on your website builder. Not all fonts are free, so the more funky you get, like the better chance it's not going to be free. So that's on you to figure that out. And then write the names of your fonts. You're like a pop font, like a heading font, and then also just your regular standard body font. You don't want that to be too cute because it might be hard to read. As far as a logo goes, you can use Canva to create a logo. That's what I have done. You can also hire one out. That's possible. If you do hire one out, make sure you get a dark logo. Make sure you get like what I would call a light logo, which is kind of like your darks and lights reversed. And then you're going to want transparent logos as well. So ask for all those if you buy a logo off of like Fiverr or something. I also suggest trying to create like what I call a fat logo. And then like a skinny logo. So one that's more boxy and one that's more horizontal, because in different settings you're going to use them differently. You might want a square for like the top little icon of your website. You might want more of like a landscape situation for top of your like if you send a letter or something like that. So if you're gonna go all the way and make a logo, these are just some suggestions about shapes and sizes and stuff. I suggest keeping it simple at first, especially if you're gonna DIY it. You can always hire someone and change it out later. And save these logo pictures in your picture folder that you created with all your other photos. All right, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please subscribe, hit the notifications button, give this video a thumbs up. But finally, in summary, get your worksheet below in the link in the description if you want to follow along. And then at the high level, remember, start with your copy and your design choices, not your website building. That'll make the website building go a lot more smoothly if you have it designed out ahead of time. Feel free to share your site too after you've built it. All right, keep hustling.